This conference will now be recorded.
But yeah,
Hey,
so
Aisha, what's the name of that what's the name of that
it's
drug again?
it's called Trodelvy. Yeah, it's called Trodelvy. It has another long generic name, but I know it as Trodelvy. The longer name is like Sama Tumamab something. Godelvy. But it's easier for me to just say Trodelvy. It's the same medicine, and it's targeted. So it's doing it's doing well. So we'll see. He's feeling better, and his scans, showed some shrinkage, which is great. So overall, it's just better because he's feeling better. So that we know, we really know
Aisha, anything else you wanted, like, on your mind, or any questions or anything else you wanted to discuss?
that. No, I actually I have some visitors. My mother and my aunt came, so they've been here since Wednesday, and they leave today. So we plan on spending a little bit more time with them before they leave later on this evening. That was a
Oh,
pleasant surprise. Yeah, it was a very good surprise, and Gregory was it was a real. I knew they were coming, but it was a surprise to him, and he was shocked, like he couldn't believe that they were sitting right there, like they were there. So
oh,
it was cool. They did get to meet Dr. Janier. They came with us to our appointment, which was nice. But no, I don't have any questions. Just really wanted to touch base and give everybody an update with Gregory and see just how everybody else is doing. I know Brian is good. I know Andre is good. I know you're good. David, I know you're good, but you could give us an update with you, but I know you're good. Like, but no questions.
yeah, David, do you want to give an update? You're on
Sure.
mute.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm good. Thank you
You
for
are.
asking. Okay, thanks. And thanks for telling us all about Gregory. I hope it all works out. Yeah, the only new info from my end is that they being oncology, have changed the date of my next scan, which was due in November. They've moved it, although they haven't given me an exact date, but they suggested it should be in August. They wanted it to be in July, but I'm not around for a lot of July. So yeah, they just moved it a bit earlier because I just have a symptom which is a bit worrying for me and a bit worrying for them. I just have a cough that won't go away. It's been every day for about 4 months now. So just want to rule out that it's a recurrence, obviously. But yeah, so that's really my only update.
Did any of you guys have, or Gregory have coughs?
So he hasn't. No, he hasn't had that. He hasn't had any. I mean, he did initially, in the beginning, very beginning, he had coughs, but since he's been on treatment, he hasn't had any coughs really.
Mm.
I think that Julia did, her cough subsided, and then she did have cough again. But uh, no, he hasn't been experiencing coughs. But everybody's different. But when was your last scan, David, prior to the one that they're about to do?
The last scan was in November.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, they're only worried about the cough because I think lungs is the one of the most likely places it spreads to.
Yes, it does. Have you, but it previously it didn't spread there. It wasn't there, correct?
No, no, but something was found, but they didn't know what it was. They asked for the MRI, and then they were convinced it wasn't cancer, but they still weren't 100% sure what it was. And then they didn't mention it in the next scan, so I assume it was okay.
Okay. All right.
What?
Well, they're gonna get the scan and figure out what it is, but you've never been diagnosed with it being in the lungs.
No, only the kidney, well, kidney, lymph node, and something else. I can't remember the name, but near the kidney. And yeah, then there was so every time they send me a letter, they put words I don't understand, but they keep referring to something. I'm not sure if it's lung or not. I'm trying to find the letter now. It's spelled HILAR, I think. killer, but I don't know what it
I don't
means. I
know.
looked it up once. No, I can't find it. Yeah, that always worries me a little bit. Every time I ask them about it, they say it's nothing to worry about.
What did your last scan show that you was free of disease, David?
Yes, it
Mm.
did.
Okay, so do you have you didn't have like periodic scans like every 3 to 4 months?
No, so it started. So after chemo, it was um, 3 months, then 6 months, then a year. So now I'm on a year.
How long did it take to get to a year?
Right?
From when you were in remission, how long
Yeah.
did it take to get to a year?
Yearly scan. Um, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think we did the first one in 3 months, the one after that 6 months later, the one after that 1 year later. So I think a year, nearly 2 years.
Okay.
Is that about the same with you, Andre? Or was it?
No. Like for that first year I did every 3 months.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Yeah, that first year I did every 3 months. So since when I got my first clear scan, the next year I had 4 scans in that following year, and um, then it went to 4 months. I had 3 scans the following year, and then 2 scans the year after that. So um, like I'm just now getting on the 1 year scan
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, I was on the
So
1 year scan. I remember much earlier than you. I haven't been scanned as much as you have in regards to surveillance after chemo.
mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I would like for your next scan, I would push to get it more frequently since you have had pain.
Mm.
Have they have they taken X-rays of like your where your
They
chest
took
area?
an X-ray in February, which is when I first, well, I got ill. Like flu, kind of like flu symptoms, fever, sore throat, really quite ill for about a week. And when I recovered from that, and then the cough just hasn't gone away, really.
I'm
They
just
thought it
my
might be
wondering.
whooping cough at one stage, but then it didn't test for it because it was too late at the time for them to do the test or something.
I wonder if there's any fluid in in your like. I don't know if that would be associative with it, but like if you haven't had an X-ray in a while, like maybe there might be some fluid in your lungs, which. But I don't. Have you been you haven't been feeling pain? It's just the cough.
No, I haven't really had pain. I mean, I've had my normal getting old pains, my feet and whatnot, but no, not serious pain.
Have you felt any different other than the cough?
I've sometimes feel nauseous, but then sometimes it's difficult to know if that's caused by something else.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, my mind would be at ease if I could have a scan, but equally, for some reason, I would like to delay the scan as long as possible because I think getting the results, even whatever they are, is just always stressful.
Yeah. But the unknown is stressful too. But being in the state that you've been in, I can definitely understand that.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
can do. I
Sometimes it's
do.
better to
and and
What you said,
what you
Brian?
no, I said, if you can, like, maybe look at the game because, like, I know the unknown is stressful, but it could be catching something early. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Definitely.
True. Yeah.
and the further you get away from what I'm saying your first clear scan, it start easing your mind a little bit. It won't be as stressful. So as the time go by, but you want to make sure that you get the requisite number of scans. Right
Sure.
after, yeah, right after your first scan that shows that it's in remission. So
Sure.
you
yeah.
know,
Even with me, like, I'm not on treatment currently, but anytime like something happens to me, they advised me to come in just so they can make sure everything's okay. So
That's good to know. Yeah, I'll try and push them.
Yeah.
Are you able to do that? Like, are you able to request a scan, or are you able to push them to, like, okay, well, I'm not feeling well. Can
Well,
you do this? Because I
I,
know
they
the
haven't.
health system is different there.
It is very, and they haven't told me this, but there have been articles on BBC, for example, saying that cancer care is really suffering in the UK, UK wide. That there is something like a 30% reduction of radiologists.
Mm.
There about 17% reduction of oncologists. So they they're having serious problems with like getting scans in, basically. Well, actually, I don't think the problem is getting people scanned. It's someone interpreting the scans. That's the problem because they're so
Ooh.
short-staffed now.
Could they send
I,
your scans to Dr. Masala like after you get them done? I would
I
that's what
suggest.
I
doubt
was about
it.
to ask.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
doubt
Like,
it.
request
why
that?
not?
Can
Why
you
not?
I
but can you request that for like your
I
Yeah.
I
previous
I can
scans
ask
and your
again, but I
current?
remember when I was originally diagnosed and I found out about MD Anderson, and obviously, they came across as being like the worldwide experts. I tried to get my oncology team to get in touch, and they did eventually, but over email. But they were so reluctant to do so. And the only thing I really gleaned from that was that it's perhaps there is an issue with private and socialized medical
Yeah.
services, and how you know how that works. And maybe the NHS doesn't want to be seen asking private, you know,
Well, I would
hospitals.
just, I would kind of go. I know this is like a specialized like type of cancer, and like I know that like we have a group or like other people like not just in the UK like Lois could talk about it more like about getting them to work with Dr. Masal, but it is a specialized cancer, so I feel like that should have like a little less of a barrier because they shouldn't like you say, well, not expecting you to have as much expertise in this. But Lois, do you have any suggestions on that?
Sorry, guys, I'm a bit late. What is, sorry, uh, what is it that you're actually discussing right now? Because I didn't follow you from the very beginning.
Um,
You're saying something about the system or what?
Well, I'm sorry. I just want to say something real quick, David. What if you what you're expressing is that maybe they had reluctance in reaching out, and maybe you think that that's because of the two different types of healthcare systems. I can say I'm in the United States, and we were in New York, and we experienced the same thing. And it had nothing to do with the healthcare system. It had everything to do, in my opinion, with the hospitals and competition. And they said that they were willing to reach out, and they did, but the hospital that we were at wasn't really interested in taking direction and information from the experts. So don't think that because you're in another country and it's a different system, that other people here that's dealing in the same country and the same system didn't experience that. So the one thing that I can say to you is, I don't know. I know here we have like my chart, so I have access. We have access to all of the scans. We have access to the reports. So even if they're not interested in sending it, the scan, seeing it visually is much better. But even if you're able to send the reports directly to Dr. Masal, I'm sure he will review it. And I'm sure that he will give you direction directly, or at least information or his interpretation of what they're seeing. So even if you're not able to get them to do it, if you have access to that information, I would definitely say reach out with all of the information and ask him if he'd be willing to just review it and give his opinion, because it doesn't hurt, and I know that he would do it. And that's for
Okay,
your information.
okay, thanks
Okay?
for
And
that.
then you can push harder for them to do something, you know?
Well,
yeah,
But
and I
that's what
think
we're
Okay,
talking about,
okay,
Lois. But go ahead.
yeah, okay. I think I got what the issue is. It's the communication between the medical team in your country, David, right, with Dr. Mzaul. Am I right? Is that
Yeah,
the issue?
sort of. But I mean,
Sort of.
no attempt has been made. Well, unless it's been done without my knowledge, I don't think any attempt's been made to make contact in the last, let's say, couple of years. But when I was first diagnosed, I was trying to really force the issue, and I even included Nicola Casey, in the
Yeah.
emails with Dr. Marcel and the other doctor whose name I can't remember, MD Anderson, me and the oncology department that I'm dealing with, and yeah, they never replied. It was just Nikki, me, and MD Anderson, and then eventually MD Anderson said that they were in touch with my doctor, but I'd never heard, not my doctor, my oncologist, but I'd never heard anything since then.
Yeah, I think the same issue was faced by Diana, wife of Leon from Manchester. I don't know if you heard the case of Leon. Nicola
Yeah, I've
Casey,
met Leon a couple of times.
you met Leon. In the beginning, there was a problem. I think the problem starts with the medical team of every place. If the medical team is willing to communicate with MD Anderson and practically with Professor Mzawel, then there's going to be communication. If the medical team, for some reason, does not want to do that or does not have the time, or I don't know what the excuse is, the communication is not very good. I had the same anxiety here in Greece with my daughter, and we were a bit lucky here because we got the reports, and the reports are in Greek, and Mr. Mzawel's Professor Mzawel's origin is Greek, so we didn't lose time in translation. The only problem was that we could not send the pictures. We only sent the reports of PET scans, of MRIs, what else, ultrasound, whatever. We send the reports. I mean, the doctors here send the reports, but there was no, it was not possible to send the pictures, the images. And that was quite negative. Because we were not recorded as patients in MD Anderson, so we transfer could not be used as well. So
There
that
was
was
definitely a problem with international communication of some
yeah,
documents
that is
because
an issue.
Leon was also abroad like me when we were
Yeah,
diagnosed. We're not diagnosed when we first had symptoms. I think Leon was in either one of the Channel Islands or France, or I went to a French hospital, I think, and I was in the Canary Islands, so it was in Spanish, and I paid for a private CT scan. I never had a CT scan in my life. In a private hospital in Las Palmas, Gran Canaria, and the report was in Spanish, very difficult to understand even when translated with Google Translate. And when I got to the UK, I offered them a USB pen drive, the CD-ROM that the private hospital gave me, and the images and written report. They took it, but they weren't interested in any of it. They wanted to do their own scans. They wanted to do it
yeah,
all themselves. You know, they didn't. It basically meant that scan didn't count. They weren't
yeah,
interested. So I just
okay.
feel, I could be wrong, that
I mean,
ideally they don't.
a lot of hospitals do that though. They
Yeah,
would want, like
yeah, they do they do everything from the beginning.
yeah, they want to
They
see
do.
Uh,
their
but do you send the reports to Professor Mzawel?
Me, no.
He
No,
hasn't yet.
the doctors, not even your doctors,
I don't
your
think so,
oncologist.
as far as I understand. I mean, they were
Yeah,
originally in
yeah,
communication, let's say 2.5 years ago, but I doubt they are anymore.
yeah. Okay. I think that the oncologist should do that, because there should be a communication between doctors. And that's what the Professor Mzawel told me in the very beginning. Okay, I first sent the emails to Professor Mzawel and Dr. Nizar, but then they wanted to find out what the medical team, who the medical team was. and who they should continue communicating with. And our oncologist here, who had no idea about RMC, thank God was willing to accept, let's say, the guidance of the doctor in MD Anderson, because some I have the feeling that for some doctors it's a matter of prestige as well. I don't know if you have felt something like that they don't want to accept somebody else's expertise. Maybe, I don't know. They feel that they know how to treat the case. I don't know. But I was very, let's say, pushy with the doctors here. I demanded that it was the first case. My daughter was the first case recorded in Greece. Nobody knew anything about that. Nobody had a clue about that. And they were obliged to communicate with someone who had treated so many patients. But there in UK, I don't know, because there are cases of RMC, not many, but they have started treating cases. Maybe they feel that they know how to do it. I don't know. Maybe you should demand and make that clear. I remember a similar discussion with Diane, because months were passing without having any communication with MD Anderson and Professor Mzawel, between him and Leon's oncologists, and
Well, I
that
can
made
believe
her
that.
and that made her feel quite anxious, quite worried,
I felt
because
well. I was
communication gives you some certainty, some confidence that Professor Mzawel knows what's going on.
Sure.
yeah. I feel like too when you ask a lot of questions, you have them down. A lot of times they'll tend to like try to defer to other people because if you kind of know if you come up like knowing what you're talking about and have your questions out, oh, like a lot of times they might defer, oh, we'll talk to the specialist or we defer. So that's like one technique or tactic you could use is just like having like your questions down and what your concerns about and what you're feeling about that. So that's like one way to go about it. I think like you're not able if you're not able for them to send the documents directly, like get the reports, and then you could you could tell Dr. Marcel like kind of like what you've been like give him a short history of what's been happening the past couple of months, and this is like the report, like see if he had any suggestions of if he would encourage you to get a certain like test as well, like a route like there, or if there's like anything to be concerned of. I think Dr. Marsal's very good, like too, about saying like what people need to do and what people don't need to do. He's not going to tell you to do something he doesn't believe you don't if he doesn't think you need to do it. So he's a very practical doctor as well. Um, I'd also sometimes I know these doctors like they have secretaries too that do send the reports too. So sometimes I'll like try to build a relationship with the secretaries, like to get them to get me what I need and be like, hey, like like what is it, sweet talk them. But I think yeah, same. That's
I
like
don't
another
think
yeah.
it's difficult. It's not difficult to send a report.
Mm-hmm.
You may just take a photo of the report. Do you have the reports, David?
No, so two things here. One is that I like your
Oh,
idea about the secretary because the secretary is the only person I can ever get hold of. It's not possible for me to speak to my consultant at any time. It literally has to go through the secretary. I've only got her
yeah.
once on the phone before. It usually goes to answer machine. And the second point was about have I seen the reports? No, but I do. I forgot to mention I do have a secondary team, oncology team, in theory in London. So my
Yeah,
primary team is in Reading in Berkshire. Now the
yeah.
London team are just interested. the Reading team, my primary team, don't really know the secondary team are interested. I haven't really told them. But so when I have a follow up with my primary team, the secondary team schedule a follow up after that just to give their opinion, which sometimes is different.
But can you get that earlier too? Can you just get like the
Well,
appointment
yeah,
on
it's just
the
getting
books?
hold of these people is so hard. But I should inform London that my scan is going to be moved earlier. I haven't actually told them that because of my coughing symptom. But last thing I want to say was that what was it? Yeah. So we had the follow ups. We've had like maybe like 4 or 5 follow ups over the phone and a couple in face to face. And it wasn't until the last follow up when they saw my scan and reports for the first time. I assumed that the NHS, the National Health Service, just could access bang, 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 but they didn't. So I can't remember exactly what it was, but I had to get my secretary to ask the consultant to do something, and another form had to be filled in by them to send over. So it wasn't just as simple as me writing an email going, I give my consent. The 2 separate things had to be done just for another hospital in the same country to be able to access and get access to the reports and
Do these people work remotely, or do they have an office that they work in that you could go to?
there is a cancer center, yeah, but if I went there about an appointment, I doubt, and it's so far away from where I am because I live in Scotland, but my teams are in England because that's where I was diagnosed. That's where my GP is because Scotland, unfortunately, although it isn't an independent country, they're trying to become an independent country. They have a completely separate health service.
So
So they don't have access. Scottish doctor does not have access to English records. So I refused to transfer to Scotland because I would lose my secondary team in London, for example. If anything serious happened, I don't know anyone in Scotland. It would be a disaster.
yeah.
Everyone I know is not going to move to Scotland if I'm in trouble. If I have to do chemo up here. So yeah, it just made more sense to keep it in England. So
David,
So I had. Oh, go ahead, Lois. Go ahead. I'll wait.
just a question. Have the team in England treated an RMC case before you?
Leon, well, that was about the same as me.
It's the same. It's the same team as for Lyon.
No, Leon was in Manchester. I was in Reading.
Yeah. I mean, in Reading, have they treated an RMC case before?
Well, my consultant said that she had seen it before, but she wouldn't give any details because of confidentiality. And my hunch was I didn't believe her.
Yeah, no,
I didn't believe her.
I mean, as a matter of expertise. I mean, if they are not, let's say, they might want to communicate with Professor Mzawel just to find out more, or maybe
No,
you
I
did.
seriously doubt that. And I'm
He
sorry
doesn't
to
feel
sound
that.
skeptical and cynical, but I've only met my consultant twice. And the first time I met her, I was with my friend's wife when I was first ever in the cancer center, and she didn't want to meet me. And we had to
but
basically force her to come and meet us. And it was a waste of time because she came to meet us, and we asked her, about 24 questions. Well, I asked her about 24
how
questions.
do they
Rhiannon asked her about 5 or 6, and she answered, I don't know, to every single one of them. And the only other thing she said was, I'm sorry, the situation is rubbish. They're the only 2 things she said.
That's all she said. Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
sorry. I don't. Wait. I just have to say. I have to say a few things, and I'm sorry to interject. So because I'm trying to resolve or trying to get more headway. So David, you have the secondary team. You had to fill out some forms from both locations in order for the secondary team to see your scans and to see the information so that they can give you their opinion. So my first question to you, or what I would like for you to do, is to find out if those forms that you filled out from both, how long they are valid for. Because I know here there's some forms that you have to fill out and they might be valid for a year. You don't know if the forms that you filled out is valid for a year or valid for just that instance. So that's one. Do you know that?
Well, I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure it's indefinite.
Okay, well, that's great. So confirm whether it's indefinite or not, because if it is indefinite, then that means that your secondary team, which you like, and that gave you the secondary opinion, they should have access to pull the information. And if your primary oncologist is not willing to speak with Dr. Masal or anyone, Dr. Chenier or anyone in MD Anderson in reference to this, maybe your secondary is. And if your secondary has access to the information because of that form, you can push for the secondary to contact MD Anderson and to get that information over there to them, because
Sure.
you want the information to get to them, and
Yeah,
that's
of
in
course.
the event that you can't get the information to them.
Yeah,
That's
fair
what's
enough.
very important.
Yeah, I've just found an email and from the Reading team, and they just said, if your team in London requires scan reports, they will need to email me directly. This is the secretary of my oncologist speaking. If they
Okay.
require images, they will need to contact our PACS department, PACS. I have no idea what that stands
Get
for.
on it. If they're
Huh?
giving you the information, and what needs to occur, then you need to have the secondary team get on it so that they can get the information. Because it seems as though they are more, they probably will contact MD Anderson, whereas your primary team is not. So use the
Right.
resources of the people that you think is going to push for it on your behalf, because it is
Sure.
always better, like Lois said, for doctors to contact doctors. Don't get me wrong, Dr. Masal, Dr. Tania, if you're able to send the information to them, they will probably review it, especially Dr. Masal. But it's
Sure.
better to get it from doctor to doctor, and plus the doctor can instruct the other doctor what needs to be done.
Yeah,
And they might be able to push
exactly.
within your country to your primary team, hey, this is what needs to be done. So we might
Okay.
have to go the background way. That's fine, but it doesn't matter which way we go. It's just the best way to get what you need.
Couldn't you
Yeah.
get your scans with your secondary team instead? Wouldn't that be easier to like?
Well, they
So I
said
need
that
to
they
get
would have
them.
to request it directly. The secondary team has to email the secretary of the primary team directly for the images. I don't know whether you can get the scans though. Can you get this? That's what you asked. I'm sorry, Teresa. Can you get the scans from the secondary team, or you have to go through the primary?
I don't know.
Find
I
that
would,
out.
Yeah.
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 I would even
Okay.
see like ask for that because too they might be faster at getting like the scans for you too.
You need the
Yeah.
information.
I'm keeping that email open, and I will email them asking them these questions, and also inform them that my scan's been moved earlier, but the date's not been set. But I say thank you very much, guys. But I have to go now. I'm really sorry. Lovely to
Okay.
see you all. When is the
Update
next
us,
meeting?
David,
please.
one last question. Who determines the regimen and the schemes that you are doing when you do
When I was on chemo, you meant?
yeah,
That
when you
was
were, yeah.
that would be Dr. Helen O'Donnell, who is my oncologist consultant, who I've met twice, who told me he couldn't
But
answer most of my
yeah,
questions.
it was her decision, not after consultation with Professor Mzawel.
It was her decision.
Yeah,
And
okay.
at that stage, I was trying to push her to contact
Yeah,
MD
okay.
Anderson, and they were reluctant to do so. And they just said that they were treating it like a different type of kidney cancer, because they just openly admitted they didn't know, what to do
Okay.
really.
Okay.
David, I put
Yeah.
my number in the chat. I know you have Richie's number. I know you have to go, but if you need to text or anything, have a quick question, please feel free.
That's very kind. I saw it come up. Oh, then I get chat here.
Yeah,
Okay,
please feel free. But
brilliant.
you could always reach Richie. The next meeting that we have, I know we have one on Saturday, but we do have a Tuesday one. If you can get in contact with us with the Tuesday one, I know it's out of your time frame, but
Sure.
we would like to have an update and
Yeah.
help you
Yeah.
if there's any way
Okay.
that we can.
Yeah, sure. Tuesday, the what is it? Sorry.
The
Teresa?
9th, July 9th.
July 9th.
And the other thing
July.
is, yeah.
I'll be traveling, so I won't see you then.
Oh
I'll
no.
be flying to Crete. That
Where is
Okay, well,
Richie?
She's
she,
somewhere. She's
yeah,
like flying internationally. She's coming back.
yeah.
Okay.
She went on vacation, so I don't know if she's back yet or not, but she was out of the country.
Okay. Well, lots of love to all. Yeah. Say bye to Brian if he comes back.
you can use our Facebook or Messenger if you
Yes.
need something. You can find us on social as well if you need to ask
Email Richie
something.
Yeah,
July
Yeah.
9th,
massively.
please.
I'm not on social media,
Ah.
and I've never joined
Okay.
social media in my life, and I intend
July
never to. But
9th.
thanks, nevertheless.
Okay.
July 9th.
Yeah. Take care.
July 9th.
Lots of
Bye,
love.
David.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye
July.
bye. Bye, David.
Okay. All right.
That's the problem with the doctors.
I know.
They are not willing. I think that comes out of a sense of pride and prestige. Is what I
Yeah.
Yes, it
said
does.
earlier.
Ego. It's ego.
Ego, a super ego, and they think that they know everything, and that if they follow somebody else's, let's say, guidance, uh, they feel somehow inferior. I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
But
it's
I want him to understand that that happens here within the same country. It's a personal thing. It has nothing to do with the country that you're in. It's the doctors that you're dealing with.
Yeah. And I mean,
Or the organization, meaning the hospital that you're dealing with. So, because my doctor in New York, that wasn't the case, but it was the bureaucracy of the hospital that wouldn't allow that to occur. So it could be the hospital, it could be the doctor. Who knows? But the point is, we gotta. If he has a path past that, he needs to use that path. And if it's
yeah.
going to the secondary, then do the secondary.
Yeah, and I think it just helps like to know that there are paths and not just to accept what they say and
Yep,
like push for it. I know it's a lot harder too when you're doing it yourself when you don't have a caregiver to help out
it
with
is.
that too.
It is.
So it's
It
like
definitely is.
it's like harder. Um but yeah, but I think it's I don't know, like just I'll follow up with him to see if he's done that. I think like going talking to the secondary team would be a lot better to you know, but
I agree. But that's why hopefully he gives an update or he reaches out to Richie or reaches out to one of us because I think that he got a lot of information just by us listening to the situation and
yeah,
giving him some things that he can do. And that, that's the support that we can offer. So that's what we do.
exactly.
No?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why, hopefully he comes on the ninth. I just know, hopefully he updates us or at least he comes to the meeting on the ninth.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I know like yeah,
is
he has
is he yeah,
mhm.
is he under is David under treatment at the moment?
So no,
No,
so he's been. Oh, go ahead. You want to go, Carissa?
no, he's in remission, but he's been having
Okay.
like a cough.
So what he
And
said was, yeah, what he said was he's been in remission. The way his scans work though is he would get it. Once he had remission, he got it 3 months, then he got it 6 months, then he got it a year. And that sometime I don't know which scan, if it was the 6 or the year, something did show up, and he said it was Hyler, and he looked it up, and they didn't know what it they didn't he asked about it, but they said that they didn't know what it was, but that it wasn't, I guess, concerning. And then what happened is, I guess in February he started getting like flu symptoms, and he had a cough, and he wasn't feeling well, and since then he's had this cough that hasn't went away. So now he had a scan that was scheduled in November, but because this cough has been persistent, they're trying to schedule it for a different time, but they have earlier time, but they haven't scheduled it as of yet. And then that's when we got into whether or not they've been in contact with Dr. Misal or MD Anderson, and he was explaining that that initially when he was diagnosed, he thinks that they reached out, but that he doesn't think that they were really in communication with one another, but that he has a secondary team, and the secondary team was able to get access to the scans and to the reports, and they gave him their opinion. And it seems like they would be, from what we heard, they would be more apt into reaching out to MD Anderson. But he got the idea that they really, his primary team is really not interested in doing that. But he's been in remission for some time, but he's had this cough for some time also. And his last scan was, I think he said, in November. I think. I'm not sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
and no
that's too far. That's too far.
It is. It
yeah.
That's
is.
too far apart. It's like after you get into remission, it takes time to build out to where you can get
I know.
yearly scans. So
I agree.
I don't know where the I guess the miscommunication came
Is he,
in
uh,
that, but
I
he
don't
really
even know
need
if
to.
it's miscommunication. I think it's just more so they deciding how they're going to do his treatment, and this is what they're doing. I don't know if anybody instructed
yeah,
him that they need treatment. He needs scans every 3 months.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I don't
saying.
think that's the case.
I was saying the miscommunication with either Dr. Like I don't know if they've been reaching out to Dr. Misal or not. That's why when I
They
say
haven't.
miscommunication, yeah, that's what
They
I'm saying. That's what I
haven't.
mean by miscommunication. medication because
Oh, okay.
It's
he he,
it's
re-
the
he really need to be on scans like every 3 to 4 months. You
every
know.
three,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the system in Britain
It's
now is
different.
going downhill. The NHS, because everybody says that it's going downhill. They don't want to do the examinations in time. They want to save money, and they just delay. And some doctors, most of them, do not realize how aggressive RMC is.
Yeah.
I remember we tried to thank God our doctors here realized reasonably quickly that it was very aggressive and that it was developing really, really fast. If you don't realize that, I think time is wasted and time is against us.
Yeah.
Can he not like push for like earlier scans if need
He
be? Oh,
said I think he
He,
asked to get scans like around like June time, and they said July, but he said he's going like he was doing traveling, so he got it for August. So I think that's I feel like too like even when you get symptoms, you should be getting scans right away. You shouldn't be like
Yeah,
waiting like a
the
month or so.
system is different though over there. It's very different. So he's
yeah,
pushing. He can push. He was pushing for them to contact the doctor, and they were reluctant. So it's just a different system over there.
Yeah.
It's very different. So I get the scans he needs, but he needs them to get the information to the doctors that's gonna listen, which is here, so that they can push for the doctors that can do something over there. It's great that
yeah,
he has
but
a secondary team.
his last scan was in November though, so those scans won't even be consistent with his
yeah,
symptoms currently. So he needs to
Right.
get
Yeah,
a scan like as soon as
Now,
possible.
immediately.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't
He
know
said
if
he was traveling, so that's why he couldn't get it in July.
yeah. That's way too
But they were
slow.
gonna do it in July.
yeah.
That's what he said.
But well, I'm glad he came on the call today to like talk through it so he gets some advice too. And
Yeah,
the like I think it's like just like hearing like I also feel like it like just severity of the situation and hearing it from other people, so it's not like, oh, you're just in your head, like
Hmm.
understanding like, no, this is serious, you should push for it, you know. I think
yeah,
Yeah, Brian, what you said was great. You was like, you need to know. So get the scan. So I'm glad that you said that, Brian.
Yeah, because
yeah,
you can't play around with it. I'd
Do
rather.
you? We can't hear you, Brian. I don't know. Your mic is messed up.
Can you hear me now?
That's
yep.
better, a little better.
a little better,
Okay.
yeah.
But no, I was saying like it's your life. You can't play with it. I'd rather push for them to do something than wait for something to happen.
Exactly.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to RMC because it is aggressive.
Yeah,
So you
time is
got to
not.
push.
Yeah, time's not on your side with RMC.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Well, Brian, was there any news you wanted to share or anything on your mind?
No new news for me. I don't think I have scans again till October or so. So
So when?
I think October, or no, not
Okay.
October. I think August. I'm sorry, August.
We need your wife.
Calm
Because you ain't keeping
down.
track of nothing. At least you can tell us what's going
Calm
on
down.
with the next
Hold
scan.
on. Let me pull up my chart real quick, okay?
Exactly. Be prepared.
We do miss Vanessa though. Tell her we said hi.
We want information. Is your hair growing back or you keeping it low? We see
No,
Andre and it's just,
I'm keeping
oh, you
I'm
keep
keeping
it
it
bald.
low.
You keep it bald. Okay, okay. We see Andre and then he just got dreads down his back and stuff, for all we know.
Yeah, yeah, out the military. See, my hair has been short, most of my life. Had
I
to grow it out.
know.
Gotta see how it feels.
I know. Your
But it's
Gregory,
hot.
he went to private school, right? So when he went to private high school, he had to keep it low and he couldn't grow it. So as soon as he was done with high school, he grew his hair.
Grew it
He
out.
wanted to
Yep.
lock it up and everything, but he just
Hmm.
had to have it long. So I get it. But like
So
you said, it's hot. So I hope you tie it up.
no, it's
Yes,
hot.
I.
But August 8th is my are my scans, and I see Dr. Marcel on August 9th.
Exactly. Thank you for the update.
Lois, is there anything on your mind you wanted to share? Lois, anything you wanted to share? Anything on your mind?
Nothing special. I just watched the kind of the Zoom webinar that the a lady from Manchester organized, Mapa Miller, on sickle cell trait. It's the symptomatic sickle trait carriers, and that was interesting. Uh, Due to the World Day of Sickle Cell Disease, that is 19th of June, and there was a webinar, and Richie was there, and Nicola as well. And
Could you send the link because I know I wasn't able to
ah
attend it. But can you put the
ah
link in the chat?
uh, the link in the chat.
Yes. Or you could
Uh,
verbally tell me. Only because I
uh,
wanted to
Wait,
see
wait.
it.
If I write, because I'm not sure how I can do that, because I've got the information on my phone and now I'm on the laptop. If I write the name of the lady who organized that, Moapa Miller, can you visit her Facebook
Yeah.
page and see all the
Uh,
information?
let me see. Hold on. What's her name? I'm gonna look.
So I'll write it on the chat. Just a
Okay, that'll
second.
work. Thank
Just a
you.
second. Just a second. The chat. Moapa Miller. I'll write that here. And just a second. You see that? Moapa Miller.
Oh, okay. MWAPE
Yeah. And she's
Miller.
written an incredible book on sickle cell, symptomatic sickle cell, because
Okay.
she's been suffering all her age. She just has the trait,
Yeah.
but there are symptoms with clots and several problems and pains. And no doctors in UK could
Okay.
justify, let's say, or could realize what's the problem, what's the real problem. And now this has started changing, and she explains all that in her book and organized this webinar. And there were people from all over the world, Africa and India. There were some doctors as well talking on the webinar. So, Aisha, have you got Facebook?
No, sorta, but I found it, but I don't see the link. But I'll be able to get it. I see her now.
Uh,
I'm gonna be able to get it.
I'll try to see,
Let me see here. It's okay because I know if
I'll
I can't find it, Richie can find it and she'll give it to me because it was last week
yeah,
and I wanted to
probably
hear it. Yeah,
probably Richie can share it, because Richie was talking, so she
yeah,
might have received the invitation.
yes.
Uh, or I can see my mail if I still have it, which
Well,
there
hold
was,
on. So
but
you just clicked on the link from the mail and you were able to just to see it.
I'll see. But the
Let
link
me
is
see.
for the live. You think it's still there?
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna
I'll
look because
try.
I have the email too, but I'm gonna look.
I'll try to see.
I know Richie will be able to give it to me. Let me see here. Let me just go to her website. I'll get it. I know about it and I missed it last week,
Um,
but I know that because I wanted to be on it, but I missed it. But I'll get it. I'll get it. Okay.
So I'll send the email that I have. Can
Okay.
you write? Can you write
Yep.
your email, Aisha?
Yep. You got it.
Okay. So I'll send whatever I have in my mail, and you'll see what you can find. Okay, just a sec.
Thank you.
Aisha, dot
Yes.
Gray, right?
Yes.
Gray at
Verizon.net.
Verizon. Yeah, Verizon. And tell me if you get something.
Okay.
And at some point, I think it was recorded, but I don't have the recording. Maybe
But you
um,
saw it on. You said you saw it on YouTube, right?
not on YouTube. I
No.
I I used that link that is in the mail I sent you, and I joined the webinar through Zoom.
Yeah, I did Zoom. I think
Oh,
there.
that was on the day that it
Yeah,
occurred.
yeah, the day that it
Oh yeah.
happened.
No,
Yeah,
I understand. I thought, but I
you
think they
see.
recorded it. I'm looking for the
Ah,
recording
okay.
of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that because I haven't checked it afterwards.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
I
know.
did get your email. I did get your email, so thank you.
Okay,
But yeah,
okay. So Richie can tell you more, or if you can join Moape.
yeah, I'm gonna look into
Yeah,
that because she might
okay.
have it on her website so that I can see it. It might be
And
there,
there is
but
another doctor from USA, Tonya, that she's doing amazing work with sickle cell disease and trait, raising awareness. Austin, am I right? Tonya Austin, does it ring a bell? Teresa, have
It's. I can't confirm. It
something
sounds familiar.
not familiar, right?
I'll get the link.
Yeah.
But look, everybody, I gotta go because it's getting late here, and I have to, spend the last bit of time with my aunt and my mother. So I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone, but I will see y'all on the 9th, Tuesday.
Yeah, on the 9th. Enjoy. I'm gonna send out a survey a little bit more about the retreat, guys. So
Okay.
I'll send everybody an email if you guys could fill it out. Would be
Okay.
helpful. So we can.
Okay. Bye
Okay.
bye, Aisha.
Thank you,
All
everybody.
right.
I'll see
Bye.
everybody later. All
All
right.
Yeah,
right. Bye bye.
bye.
Later.
So it's only us.
Yes.
We are left.
Anything else
Okay.
anybody had?
My next scan is actually the same day as yours, Brian. So it's on the 8th, and I see Dr. Messiah on the 9th. So we might bump into each other at MD. So that'll be good.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep, that's all I got.
All right.
So how are things in USA right now? Cold? We had kind of heat wave here in Greece.
All
It's hot.
right.
Over.
All right.
Yeah. Over New Jersey, New York, it's been like 90 degrees, 80 degrees.
Ah,
Um.
okay, that's good. Not
Yeah.
37 or 38. Like here, we can't bear our skin in Greece.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's too hot.
Yeah, it's a little. It's hotter than it usually is, but I have like I decided to
Yeah,
join the town pool
yeah.
across my street. So it's
Okay,
nice. I can go swimming. So
right.
looking forward to doing that.
So any plans for for the summer? Yeah,
So like for me, my niece is actually coming up
okay.
from college today, and she's gonna be with me for the week I have off the weekend. She does, so I'm gonna
Okay.
do things with her. So
Right.
yeah.
And you, Brian, Andre, you,
Uh,
you've got some days off. You work, Brian. You work now,
yes, I work.
right?
Yeah. No plans for me really. Just trying to stay cool. It's like in the
Yeah.
90s here, so
Okay. Good. So I guess no more people are gonna join. No more news.
No, I feel like Saturday is
Okay.
a little bit lighter on Saturdays, but
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe people have got things to do. I don't know.
yeah. All right. Well, I think we can end
Yeah. Yeah.
right now. Let me stop the recording.